Hi, I'm Dr. Bev Smallwood, and I want to start today with a question, and I want you to answer it honestly, but just to yourself. When you look at those things you did this week, your work, your parenting, that conversation that you replayed in your head about 6 times, are you measuring yourself by how far you've come or how far you still are from where you think you should be? Because if it's that second one, I want you to lean in today because this one's for you. As a psychologist and executive coach, I've spent several decades sitting across from people, and I can tell you that some of the most capable, hardworking, and good hearted people I've ever met are also some of the hardest on themselves. And almost every single time when I trace it back, I find the same root under it: perfectionism. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Bev, perfectionism isn't really a flaw, it just means I have high standards. And I understand why it feels that way, but stay with me because I've watched perfectionism do some real damage in real lives, mm, including me in some of my own seasons. Perfectionism almost guarantees a problem with your self worth. Why, you ask? Well, this is why. Perfectionists don't judge themselves by what they've actually accomplished. They judge themselves by the gap, the distance between what they think they should have done and what they've actually done. And when your standard is perfection, that gap never closes. It's always there. So you walk around with this low grade, nagging sense that you're falling short, that you're somehow deficient, not enough, failing. It's not because you are falling short, it's because you've set up a measuring stick that no human can ever live up to. So let me explain it in a way that may help you. Perfectionism is a strength taken to excess, and any strength taken to excess becomes a problem every single time. So make this distinction. A spirit of excellence is a beautiful thing. Wanting to do good work, caring about the details, giving your best. Hey, that's a gift. And I hope you never lose it. Excellence pulls you forward. It's energizing. Perfection is something else entirely. Perfection isn't a high standard, it's an impossible one. And anything impossible is by definition going to be discouraging to you. You can chase it your whole life and never once arrive. Excellence says, let's make this really good. But perfectionists say, if it's not flawless, you failed. And that word failure, there's the trap. Because a perfectionist sees anything less than perfect as failure. You don't see it as progress. No, you see it as failure. There's no middle ground. You either hit perfect or you blew it. And since nobody hits perfect, guess which side of that line you end up living on? So today I want to give you a different way, a kinder way, a way that actually works. And it's something I've watched change lives in my own counseling and coaching rooms. It's three things, three shifts that make sustained growth possible. If something I've already said is landing for you, do me a quick favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss what we do here every week. Because we talk about healing and hope and becoming the strongest version of yourself. And tap like if this is resonating, because that genuinely helps more tired perfectionists find this video. And I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. Tell me, where does perfectionism show up most in your life? Is it your work, your home, your appearance, your faith? Drop it below. I'll read them, and honestly, you'll probably encourage somebody else who's feeling the exact same way. Okay, here are the three things. First, the willingness to make mistakes and to learn from each one. I know, for a recovering perfectionist, that sentence almost hurts to hear. Willing to make a mistake on purpose? Hey, but hear this, there's no such thing as growth without mistakes. They're not the detour off the path, they are the path. But think about anyone who's ever gotten really good at anything: a musician, a surgeon, a parent, a leader. Every one of them got there by doing it imperfectly first, by messing up and paying attention and adjusting. The mistake wasn't the failure, the mistake was the teacher. So, the shift I'm asking you to make is this: when something doesn't go the way you hoped, instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" I want you to ask, "What's this trying to teach me?" One of those questions buries you and the other one grows you. Same situation, completely different outcome. And you get to choose the question. Mistakes aren't proof that you're deficient. They're proof you're in the arena, that you're actually trying something instead of hiding. And I'd rather you be in the arena, scuffed up and learning, than sitting safe on the sidelines, perfect and stuck. So here's the second thing: realistic expectations, especially when you're tackling something new. This one trips up high achievers more than almost anything. And I want to be really gentle but honest with you here. Because when you start something new, you're a beginner. That's not an insult, that's just reality. But the perfectionist expects to be excellent immediately. They pick up the new thing, the new job, the new instrument, the new season of life, and they expect to perform at the level of someone who's been doing it for 10 years. And when they can't, they don't think, "Well, of course, I just got started." They think, "See, I'm no good at this." Do you hear how unfair that is? You never say that to a friend. You never look at someone learning to walk and say, "Wow, you're really bad at this." You'd say, "Look at you go, you're learning." Realistic expectations aren't about lowering your standards, they're about putting your standards in the right season. A new endeavor just deserves some grace, beginner's grace. So give the learning curve the time it actually needs. You're allowed to be new at things, and you're allowed to be in process. In fact, you can't get good at anything without first being willing to be bad at it for a little while. And the third thing, and this is the heart of it, is grace for yourself. Celebrating progress, not perfection. Now, grace is a word I don't use lightly. As a person of faith, grace is the thing that my whole life rests on. The radical idea that I'm loved and accepted, not because I've earned it, or not because I performed well enough, but simply because I am. And this is what I believe down in my bones. If God extends that kind of grace to you, who are you and I to refuse to extend it to ourselves? We were never meant to be our own harshest judge. We were meant to be our own steady encouragers. So here's the practical way to live this out so that you can actually use it. Stop measuring yourself against perfect. Perfect was never the right yardstick. Instead, use your own past performance as the measure. Don't ask, am I where I think I should be? Ask, am I further along than I was? Am I a little more patient than I was a year ago? Am I handling that hard relationship a little better than I used to? Am I a step closer than I was last month? That's the yardstick. You against your former self, not you against some flawless imaginary version of you that has never existed and never will. So when you see that progress, when you catch yourself doing the thing better than you did it before, I want you to celebrate it out loud. Don't rush past it. Don't minimize it. So many of us blow right past every win on our way to obsess over the thing we didn't nail. Stop doing that. Notice the growth, mark it, thank God for it, and let it encourage you forward. This is the truth. The person who celebrates their progress is able to keep going. The person who only sees the gap eventually gives up. Encouragement is fuel, and you're allowed to give it to yourself. So let me give you the whole thing in 3 words. These 3 words, I want you to write on a sticky note, put it on your mirror or your dashboard or the bottom of your computer screen. Progress, not perfection. A willingness to make mistakes and learn from them. Realistic expectations, especially when you're new, and grace for yourself, celebrating how far you've come instead of grieving about how far you still have to go. Progress, not perfection. That's not lowering the bar. That's putting the bar somewhere you can actually grow. So I want to leave you with something today. There's an old line attributed to Confucius. It's worth noting here. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. Did you catch that? It doesn't say how perfectly you go. It doesn't say how fast you go. It says don't stop. Slow progress is still progress. A small step is still a step in the right direction. And the only way to truly fail at this is to quit moving altogether. So, if today you're tired of measuring yourself against a standard that was never possible to begin with, let it go. Lay it down. It was never serving you anyway. And pick up something better. A steady, hopeful, grace-filled commitment to keep moving forward, one honest step at a time. You don't have to be perfect. You never did. Anyway, you can't. So until we meet in the next video, I remind you, keep going, keep growing, and you'll come out stronger on the other side. I'll see you next time.